Learn to always be involved in the community, always be trying to give back, always trying to help people be the best version of themselves personally and professionally, which was not always the case. It's not always the person who stands out as, number one in whatever it may be. It's the people that can connect, that can put themselves second and their team and patients first. Those are the people that we're looking to recruit. It's really, they know that they don't know everything. And they're willing to continue to learn. Look, you can learn a lot about what you don't want to do and what you do want to do, and we'll just kind of help you vet that out. I think with hard work and dedication that you can get what you want. I mean, you can be who you want to be. Never said no. If something needed to be done, you said, how can I help? How can I make that happen? In our environment, we do outpatient orthopedics, so they may see a 12-year-old with a femur fracture. They may see a 90-year-old that wants to play pickleball. And so you've got to be really good at a very wide range of activities. Huge disruptor was COVID because we lost 80% of our business overnight. I think AI is going to be impactful because the documentation burden, incorporating AI into note writing and doing some of those things may be the future that's going to help keep some longevity of some of the therapists in less appropriate time. But I will only grow at the pace of excellence. I'm not just going to open a bunch of clinics and throw whoever I can get in there. We're going to do it with the right people at the right time and when they're ready. And that's where we're going to work.
All right, so today on Muddy Waters Clear Vision, we have my friend Seth Kaplan. Seth, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit, Seth Kaplan, what do you do?
I'm one of the owners of Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. And so I've been there for almost 37 years now.
Awesome. So take us back to the beginning, Seth. Where are you born and raised? Where are you from?
Born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and was raised in a small town in Mississippi named Pickens, Mississippi. And so my dad was in the Air Force, and he dragged us back home to Mississippi for him to run his mom and dad's store in Pickens, Mississippi, many years ago.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long were you in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
2 years. So that's where my mom's family's from Albuquerque.
Gotcha.
So where they met, and that's where they were married and started our family, and then we moved back to Mississippi in 1968.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about your early childhood or even growing up. Like, who were some of those influential leaders or maybe even entrepreneurs in your life that inspired you to one day be, crazy enough to own a business?
Crazy enough, that's right.
It.
I think it's my grandparents.
Okay.
My dad's family, father came from Poland, and his mom came from Poland. They came to the United States and started a small dry goods store in Pickens, Mississippi. And my other set of grandparents, my mom's family, was running Ace Auto Supply in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So at one point, my grandfather had, I think it was 17, 18 stores, automotive stores throughout Albuquerque. So I got to watch that during some of the summers that I spent with my family out there.
So what was it about them that you're saying inspired you? Or
I think it was watching them interact with the public, with their team around them. I think it just gave a lot of motivation to be involved at that level and strive for more than just being part of it, but being part of influencing how it ended up. And so, and that was always fun to watch that.
Yeah. So more specifically, what were some behaviors that they modeled or things that they saw that you can think most back to?
I think there was never a day off. There was never a, time where you weren't doing something for someone else. And, and that's where I really saw that with my grandparents and my dad, who was always working. My mom was working. And so I grew up in that environment. That's just part of what we did, and that's part of what we watched as we grew up.
So you almost didn't know any different?
Never knew any different. That's right. So never knew any different.
Like you met somebody who's like a couch potato and you're like, what is that?
That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, so you've had these obviously influential leaders who obviously worked hard, being generous. So how would you describe your own leadership style as you think about it?
I think it's more of a servant leadership. Like I feel like I'm doing my best when I'm able to bring my team to a higher level. And I use that on a daily basis because I still treat patients almost full time, and I demonstrate the behavior that I want my team to demonstrate. I learned that from the prior owners and partners of Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. And I learned to always be involved in the community, always be trying to give back, always trying to help people be the best version of themselves personally and professionally.
So you talked about the previous owners. You worked underneath them before you
Yes.
acquired it? Okay,
Yes.
got it. So servant leadership was something is that, so that's kind of like breathed throughout your organization?
I think it's the partnership that I've observed when I came here, and now those guys have all retired, but they left a pretty strong mark on me and my current partners, and I feel like I'm standing on shoulders of some of the best therapists and best entrepreneurs in our business, and so I learned a lot from them, and I learned how to take care of people and how to engage with people. And that's what I try to impart into my younger therapists and to my future partners.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what impact do you see that happening on your organization?
I think it's given us longevity. I mean, our practice has been in business since 1965, which was before, 1963, which was before Medicare, which was impacted in 1965.
Yeah.
So we've been around for a long time. We've influenced really local as well as national physical therapy, and I saw some of the prior owners win national awards and be able to be involved at that level of our practice and in our profession, and to see what it means to our profession. And so that's why it just means a lot to continue that now.
Yeah. So you and I met, I guess, a couple of months ago and sat down and had coffee, and just you kind of gave me a sneak peek into what you guys were doing there. It was really kind of interesting to see how much alignment you had. Kind of what I could just sense from our conversation is the amount of alignment. How do you guys go about doing it? How do you think that is achieved inside your organization to create those outputs and outcomes you want for your employees?
It's all about finding the right people.
Yeah.
I've made mistakes of hiring just because they look great on paper. You think that they're gonna be a good fit, and it's not always the case. It's not always the top performer in the class. It's not always the person who stands out as number one in whatever it may be. It's the people that can connect, that can put themselves second and their team and patients first. Those are the people that we're looking to recruit. And like I said, I've made mistakes before, and it never works out. It never works out if you put the wrong people in place. And so I would rather wait for the right people to come along and to recruit those people, as opposed to putting somebody that kind of force that square peg in the right hole.
Yeah. So I'm curious, when you think about your staff right now and the fact that you're saying it's all about the right people, how do you guys go about finding the right people?
That's hard. I mean, that's hard.
Yeah, that's like one of the hardest things.
It's one of the hardest things. So we talk with my clinic directors. We have 5 clinic directors. We talk about the ideal team player, Peter Leonsi. And we talk about what makes that ideal team player: humble, hungry, and smart. Somebody who is really, they know that they don't know everything, and they're willing to continue to learn. And do they want to continue on just a clinical path, or do they want to continue to learn more about how to manage people, how to motivate people, how to get them to be their best? And so I think light people tend to attract those light type of minded people, and so my partners now, we all feel the same way, my COO, and we work hard to get those people around in our practice, whether it be taking students, whether it be getting people to volunteer, do observation hours, and kind of get our just the culture of what we have going on. And if they can get in the doors, they can feel that culture, they can feel that camaraderie, that teamwork, and when they see that, they want to be a part of that. And those are the people that we try to recruit.
Yeah, so I love that you're sharing that, because I think if you sat down with most organizations, they would say, hey, we aspire at least to be at that level, right? So when you think about that, how much work have y'all put into defining that or being intentional about that?
It's almost everything we talk about. When we talk about how do we build the next layer, the next generation, we have it on a whiteboard in our conference room about how to build trust. And that starts at treating everybody with respect, treating even whether it be technicians or anybody in that organization, they're all valued. I mean, everybody's valued. And so everybody has a role to play and how the team works and the role to play and how the patient feels when they walk in the door and receive treatment and when they walk out the door. And so I think creating that shared value of what we want and what we want to continue to grow. We talk about that a lot.
Well, and I know something that I walked away with too in that conversation was I really liked how intentional y'all were on the development side. So maybe talk a little bit about coaching and development and what you guys kind of think about that and how that's kind of breathed through your organization as well.
Sure. So I mentioned the ideal team player. So all of our clinic directors have to read that. If they want to be in leadership, that's one of the things that we talk about. We start by saying, what does it mean? What does it look like to get the right people in your organization? And then we do Enneagrams, if you're familiar with Enneagrams.
Love Enneagram.
So love Enneagrams because
we could do a whole nother podcast.
Oh, it would be awesome. So many years I went.
What's your number?
I'm a 3.
Okay, because you're not supposed to project on somebody what you think their number is.
Yeah.
It's like the number one rule of Enneagram.
That's right. That's right. So I'm a 3.
Okay.
And so and I know what all my clinic directors are, and we even pushed it down to a clinic basis. So the clinic directors were able to do that with their staff, and it's about time we roll it around again because we've had some new people. And so, but it was so funny because when you start looking and breaking that down, it's why people do the things they do. And if you can work with them on their strengths and their character, it's just so much more fun. It just makes it a fun environment. And so that's what when we do that, when we work with those the Enneagrams, and I know when I'm going to a number 1, like I can't be big ideas. We've got to think about what is the nitty gritty and how we're going to do that. My 2s that will never say no to anything, like I'll do it. And I was like, wait, I have to learn to say, do you have time to do it?
That's right.
Do you have the capacity right now to do those things? And so it helps us communicate as a team better. And so, and I think that gives everybody, I guess, pause to say, hey, I'm in a good place. I'm in a good culture. I'm able to grow personally and professionally. And that's what we're trying to do, because if we take care of each other, then taking great care of patients, then we'll continue to grow.
Yeah. So I'm curious, I know part of your strategy is you got to get people fresh out of school, right?
Yes.
I'm really curious about this, but what are some of those greatest challenges of that workforce coming up? Because I know you guys have the right culture. You're thinking about leadership. You're thinking about development. But what are some of those major challenges that even those students are trying to, I guess they're faced with coming into the profession?
Just getting the right place for them, because with therapy as well as medicine, there's a lot of different options for them. So finding the right fit and finding the right family for them and what they really want to do, finding out what their goals are, is really what we try to push for. I mentioned before, we take a lot of students. I mean, we want students in all of our clinics all the time from the schools in Louisiana as well as outside of Louisiana, because if you may take 10 students and you may get one that says, I want to be a part of this, or I'm available to be a part of this. And so we know it's an investment in the schools in around Louisiana, as well as an investment in our future of our profession, because I'll tell if they want to do whatever it is, if it's not with us, I'll say, look, you can learn a lot about what you don't want to do and what you do want to do, and we'll just kind of help you vet that out. And so try to help them figure out what they want to do, because they have a lot of options, and if we can get them to narrow those down, and if we're part of their future, then so be it, and let's go. And we'll make that work.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm curious, what would you think, or what would you say are some of those muddiest moments that you've had in your career as a business owner, or even just through this whole journey of what would you say, 37 years there?
Almost.
Yeah. So what have been those times that maybe tested you the most as a leader?
I think developing into the leader. So many years ago, I think it was in 1991, the partners, before I was a partner at that time, said, look, I was here in Baton Rouge, and they said, look, we need you to go to New Orleans. We need you to run, we had a contract with a big hospital in New Orleans. We need you to go run that. And I guess when you talk about, what do you want to, where would I have made different choices? That at the time was a terribly hard choice, because I had just met my now wife, We just started dating in November, and I left in January to move to New Orleans. And so, I did that, and at the same time, I went to school on the weekends at Tulane's Executive Masters of Health Administration program. So I was in school on the weekends, full-time work. That was one of the hardest parts of my life. And so, but it helped define who I was and what I was willing to do to be a leader, not just clinically, but professionally, and make an impact on the bigger company and not just the person sitting in front of me. And so that was a tough time, but again, it was a great time. I learned a ton, and it helped define who I was as a leader and beginning to be a leader.
So when you think of the most stressful time of that moment, right? Because it sounds like you were drinking from the fire hose, literally, right? What was the greatest lesson you learned through that, though?
I think with hard work and dedication that you can get what you want. I mean, you can be who you want to be, and I think that's where when I went and I met with some of the local leaders here and some of the big health organizations that had done that program before, and I was young at that point, and so but I wanted to start that. I wanted to get that going because at some point I wanted to raise a family, and so I wanted to get that under my belt, and I was able to do that, then move back to Baton Rouge. And I promised my wife that would be the last thing I did. But as soon as we had our twins, I went back to school and got my doctorate. And so,
oh, did you?
Yeah. So
broken promises?
Yeah, broken promises. I apologize. Sorry, baby. So, but those are all things that helped define who I was and what I was willing to do. And what I've observed going back to my grandparents and my dad is like, never said no. I mean, you just, if something needed to be done, you said, how can I help? How can I make that happen? How can I make that happen?
So one thing that just keeps like sparking in my brain every time I talk to you is just how much I think it sounds like you're just like a deep learner.
Yes.
Why is that? Where does that come from, number one? Where does that come from for
So
you?
that also strength finders, right? We use strength finders too. And so one of my core values is learning. And my partners all have the same thing. And so I think in our profession, if you're not learning and growing, you're getting stagnant. If you're not learning and doing things on a regular basis to either teach, engage, you're not growing. And so, we're hosting a course this weekend, and I've taken this same course probably 20 times over my career, but I still go, and my partners still go, and our leadership still go on these because we want to be around the younger therapists and help them grow quickly into the therapist that they're going to be. And so, and those are the things that I see in myself that I surround myself as being a learner that we talked about. I just like learning. I mean, I enjoy it, not just learning in our profession, but learning managerial stuff. And I learn from the young kids too. So it makes a fun environment. And it really feels weird when I'm around somebody who says, I know everything I need to know. And I'm like, I stay away from people.
That's where you turn and run.
Yeah, because those people don't have any clue.
Yeah. So how do you best learn?
That's an interesting question. How do I best learn? I love to observe. I like to watch, and then I like to practice, and I love to teach. And so I think when I have to teach someone something, I learn it at a different level. Yeah. And so and that's probably the way I best learn.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't realize, for me a long time ago, I thought I learned a different way, but now that I've gotten older, I actually learned through teaching as well.
Yeah.
It's almost like your accountability just gets raised up. It's like, wait, if I'm going to teach this,
I got to know.
I better study it.
That's
I better
right.
go know
That's
it,
right?
Yeah. I love that. How would you, like, if you went back to your younger self, what is like some life lessons or some just sage wisdom that you would bring back and say, hey, younger Seth, I need you to know these things?
I think I would be more confident early on. Like, I was hesitant when I didn't know what I could achieve early on. And I think I would have sought a little bit more counsel about what my capabilities were early on. And so I think that would have been a good piece of advice. It's just like, exceed in learning and being around people that you may want to emulate, be around those people and work around those people.
Yeah. And so what do you see this with some of your younger kind of students coming through? Do you see like a lack of confidence? And if so, how do you guys how do you navigate that for them?
So Absolutely, they have lack of confidence. I mean, because they're new. I mean, they're new and they're dealing with, in our environment, we do outpatient orthopedics. So they may see a 12-year-old with a femur fracture. They may see a 90-year-old that wants to play pickleball. And so you've got to be really good at a very wide range of activities and be able to do that. And so to give them that confidence, we set up what we call a one-to-one. And so when we hire a new therapist, we schedule them a mentor. I mean, they sign a contract that we're going to meet every week for this amount of time. We're going to talk about these things this week. And it's a very lockstep program to be able to give them the maximum amount of confidence. And if they still don't have confidence in a certain area, we spend more time on it. That's the commitment that we've got, because they're a representation of us and of our practice. And so I need them and I want them to be the best representative of themselves they can be. And so, and we talk to them, we get to know their Enneagrams. What do you how do you learn and how do you want to be given information? Do you want to practice hands-on? Do you want to practice some of the way? Do you want articles? What would make you feel more comfortable in your world, in your setting? And so we schedule that time, and that's part of what we do in our mentor program.
I love that. And so your mentors in this program are just your elder employees that have been there and seen the ropes and all?
Sure.
That's impressive. And how long have y'all been doing that program?
We've always had mentorship. I mean, I learned from Ricky Lane, Tyler Fossey, Francis, and Joe Nicolosi. I mean, I learned from those guys. Gus Gutierrez, who's one of my current partners. I mean, I learned every day from those guys. It is just now more of a formal lockstep. And that was probably in 2019. We started doing that, a more formal program that it's lined out. And some of our younger therapists helped develop that. So, and that's been a lot of fun to watch that. And we're always tweaking it to make it better.
Yeah, I'm curious, what led you guys to start that in 2019?
I think it was sharing ideas with other companies around the country that we know, bringing on different partnerships that helped develop those things too. And so, again, trying to surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, maybe need to tweak what they've done, and being part of that. And that's what we've done with that.
Yeah. So every industry is like changing quickly right now. And I'm just curious, like, what's that for physical therapy? What do you see happening? I just feel like everything's is ready for disruption in some way. So where do you see physical therapy going?
So I think a huge disruptor was COVID. That was the first thing. I mean, that was just because we lost 80% of our business overnight. And so there were many sleepless nights. Are we going to even be in business? Or, is this world going to be completely,
we talk about muddy waters. You didn't even bring this up.
Yeah. I mean, but that was one of those defining moments, about how we were able to, thank goodness and thank God, navigate through that and come out on the other end. And I think we're still understaffed a little bit because we're trying, I'm not just going to hire a warm body. I want those people that fit that mold of what we're looking for. So that gave a huge reset button on how we practice, how we make things better for the people around us, because it really changed. Like years ago, we would have never looked at modified schedules for people. It was like, Stuart, this is a schedule. This is the hours that we have. This is what we're going to work. Now we got people working, flex. I go in at 7, I work to see patients till 4. We got therapists that come in at 9, go to 6. And so we're flexing to make it better for patients and make it better for staff, that they can drop the kids off at school and still get to work on time, so that would have never happened 20 years ago. I mean, it never would have happened. So we're having to come up with different ways to flex around that. But the future of what we're seeing, I think AI is going to be impactful, because the documentation burden, I mean, you'll hear with any medical profession, the documentation burden of what we have to do is just ridiculous.
And it's getting worse.
It's worse, and it's extremely challenging. And it seems to be a lot of effort for not a lot of return. We're getting reimbursed less and less than we used to get many years ago. But the administrative demands on our young therapists and everybody is just so much more astronomical. And so incorporating AI into note writing and doing some of those things may be the future that's going to help keep some longevity of some of the therapists and less burnout over time. So that I'm looking forward to that. And so we're looking at that now. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so I want to ask you about community impact. I know you guys have always been just a good steward in the community, a good pillar, but I'm just curious, what are you passionate about? What are the
Personally or professionally?
I'm curious personally, and then we can talk about how, Baton Rouge Physical Therapy is also.
So Baton Rouge Physical Therapy, I think we try to show up where people need us. And so we sponsor a lot of races. We do different community events, whether it be Lions Tennis Club, whether it be a tournament, and races that we're out so we can educate people, because what most people don't understand is that in the state of Louisiana in 2016, it was signed that you can come directly to physical therapists now without a physician referral, which means that if you hurt yourself on Saturday, you strain a calf or a hamstring, you don't have to have a physician referral. You can call and get straight into therapy. And so I think that's been a big part of growth and development of physical therapy in our state.
I didn't know that, by the way.
Well, please share it. Please share it.
So today was worthwhile. Right?
There you go. There you go. Because that means a lot. So we'll go to races, and if I see you run a race, you go, gosh, I may have strained a hamstring or whatever it may be. I'll say, come in tomorrow and let's take a look at it. And that way you deliver the proper care to the proper, at the appropriate time, without wasting a lot of time, without you having to wait for a physician referral, getting maybe unnecessary testing. And so I think it just helps, and it can overall lower healthcare cost for you, for the overall industry, by getting the appropriate care at the appropriate time.
I love that. So, okay. So, and so that's how your company is. So I'm just curious, what are the things you're passionate about?
My kids.
Yeah.
I make sure that they're hopefully being raised
good community members, right?
Good contributing members of society.
It's our number one job, by the way.
It is. It's tough. My hat's off to my wife, because we have 3 girls, and so they've all gone through national charity leagues. So they're always preparing meals for St. Vincent de Paul. And so they're learning that they're not the center of the universe. And I want my kids to know that giving back to the community is extremely important. We're Jewish, and one of the take homes of that is tzedakah, do good deeds, give charity, be a good member of society. And so they're learning those things. We've hopefully emulated those and demonstrated those so they can take those with them forever. And so I've got golden retrievers. I've had golden retrievers since 96. And we do pet therapy. So I'll take my golden retriever to Children's Hospital.
That's awesome.
And St. James. So my oldest daughter now is certified to be a handler, and so she takes the dog too. So I've kind of passed that on too.
That's amazing. I bet that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So the other thing that our family does is Camp Dream Street, which is a camp for kids with physical disabilities, and that's how I got interested in physical therapy in 1984. Yeah. So
no way.
So I was a counselor, and now all my girls have been counselors, and now they're on staff for that camp, and so we've been doing it over 4 years.
Where is that camp?
Utica, Mississippi.
Okay, wait, say that again.
Utica, Mississippi.
Yeah, Utica. I've never
like Utica, New York, but in Mississippi.
I always hear like these towns in Mississippi. I'm like, wait, what?
Where was that? Yeah,
where is that?
It's between the interstate and Vicksburg.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but that's been a tremendous impact on me personally, and now I've seen the impact that it's given to my kids, and how involved they've been, and what it means. Like I said, to be part of something that you're not the center of the universe, and you're there to give of yourself so other people can benefit. Yeah. And that's what they've learned through that.
I love that. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. Okay. Where are we going? What are you excited about on the horizon for you guys?
I'm excited to bring on new therapists, new partners, and figure out how we can continue to learn and grow and deliver our model of care, which is we feel pretty superior, and that's based on functional outcomes, that we provide a great care to our patients and be able to do that in different markets, different environments. And so, but I will only grow at the pace of excellence. I'm not just going to open a bunch of clinics and throw whoever I can get in there. We're going to do it with the right people at the right time and when they're ready. And that's where we're going to work.
Well, that's really wise, and I love hearing that. So I very much appreciate you coming on today and sharing. This has been great. I'm just a super fan of you and seeing how you're leading and showing up every day. So that's been awesome.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy.